Hi, Kristie. It's Kim Scoville. You don't know me. It's so weird. But anyway, I hate taking videos. I'm going to go through just the basics of kind of some of the things we were going to cover today. I know you said that he's doing, or your pup's doing awesome with the commands, basic commands, which is great. But then when there's distractions, there's issues. But I'm going to go through some tools that kind of will help build that relationship even stronger. And then we'll work on the distractions. So I have one of my dogs with me. Oh, my battery's dying. Oh, hopefully I'll get this in. This is Gus. And one of the reasons I like to do the videos is I hate getting behind and I want people to have stuff to work on because it's such a weird time now with COVID and it's just crazy. So, and I don't, when I'm with you, I practice these things and I use myself as a tool, as a distraction for your dog, but obviously I'm not there. So use your kids if you can. I'll explain what I'm talking about. This is Gus. Gus is a rescue. He had every bad habit known to man. Worst dog ever. Gus, sit. So some of the things you want to do are, play with their ears, play with their feet, and have your kids do this, and anyone else, your husband, anyone you can find, so that they get used to everyone doing it. Looking at their eyes. These build confidence in your dog. The command for sit, and I'll show you. So sit is just this, and eventually you can get your dog. Your dog will be able to do it without a word. I'm losing my words today. So that's one command. So then work on down. That's another one we're going to work on. These are pretty basic. And then I want you to work on a word to free him. So free. Good job. So letting him know that he can be free. So if you put him in a down, if you put your dog in a down or a place, you want them to stay there until you tell them they can get up. And I'm going to talk about the place. One of the things that people struggle with in their homes is their dogs jumping on people when they come over, being too excited, nipping, biting, jumping up on things. The beginning of that starts with a place. So I tell people not to use the crate for this. I love crate training, and a lot of dogs will go in their crate, but I like just having like a bed, I have a hammock, I have a regular bed, and you put your dog in that place, and then you tell them to stay. That's the ideal situation. Doesn't happen like that. You have to practice you can tether your dog and have them in their place, and then you guys can practice. So you can go to the door and you can knock. Your kids can go to the door and knock, and you do not allow anyone to pet your dog until they are seated on all 4 feet on the ground and they are calm. So, and I'm going to practice this with you, but Gus is not excitable because he knows what's going on. But if he was jumping around and being excited, I would not touch him until he was calm. I would put my hands behind my back and I walk up to him and I ask them to sit. And if they're jumping, I just take a step back and I do it over and over again. These are important things to kind of work through because puppies are, they're notorious for jumping. They're excited. It's normal behavior. But you want to nip it now because they won't be puppies forever. Let's see. What's the other thing? About the waiting. So everything that you do, and this will build on the respect and listening and staying and not jumping. When you feed your dog, have them in the sit and make them wait for their food. Don't just put it on the floor. Basically, the concept is your dog works for everything. And I'm very treat-oriented training, so if you want to underfeed your dog, because you're going to use treats to reward them, so you ask them to sit, you ask them to stay or wait, you put their dish down. In the beginning, it's just going to be a few seconds. So you're going to put the dish down, you're going to say, okay, and you're going to release them so they can have their food, but you're going to kind of be between them and the dish. Same thing with in and out of the doors. These are very first things we work on. So your dog doesn't have to be seated for this, but it's the idea that dog does not leave until you are out the door. So they can't leave until you say it's okay. So you're going to open a door, and you can practice this with any front door or have other people help. You're going to say wait, and then you're going to open that door. If they get up, you're going to close it, and you're going to say wait, and then you're going to open it. You're going to keep opening and closing it. What you want is for them to wait. In the beginning, it might be a short time span, and then you're going to say, we're going to wait, and you're going to say, okay, and you're going to let them go, or your free word, so that they know they can go through the doorway. pretty much anything you want to. It could be for anything. It could be a treat. The main thing I see is with the door. And also, if you don't have time to say you're training your dog and you can't get them to their place, and someone comes to the door, you're gonna get in your dog's space. You're gonna push that, you're gonna stand here and you're just gonna get in your dog's space, make yourself big, and then take your dog to their place before people come in and pet it. It's hard. It's hard because you have to be consistent and you have to just tell people, hey, I'm training my dog. I would appreciate it if you don't pet them until they are calm, all 4 feet on the ground, and then reward them. I mean, and if they're doing any of this stuff without you asking, if they're in their bed without asking, if they're calm before you ask, you know, by all means, reward them. Also, one of the big things I see is when you leave, don't make a huge deal out of it. If you're crating them, be like, okay, get in your bed, and then leave. When you come home, don't make a big deal out of it. I don't say much to my dogs when I get home for the first couple minutes, and then after about 4 minutes, I play with them and praise them and say I missed them. It just increases that anxiety and that excitement, and then when people come over, they're like, oh, someone's here, like they're repeating the pattern. That goes along with the crate. If you are crating them, do not just open the crate and let them out. You're gonna open the crate, make them wait, close. So you're gonna wait until they're sitting and waiting before you let them out. So it's gonna take a lot of opening and closing that crate to get them to, and they'll understand. When it closes and they get up and they wanna go, then they're not gonna go. They're gonna wait for you. We'll talk about sharing space because I don't know what your situation is with sharing space. I know you wanted to talk about the leash training. And I have on my website, if you go to doggonhappytraining.net, I have a video on there of the J and the leash that you want, and I will of course be working with you on this. The main thing to start out with is, I don't know if he's behind you, I can't remember if you even told me. If they're behind or pulling, if they're behind, you're going to want to have a treat here encouraging them to walk with you by your side. You're going to be making a lot of turns. That's how you're going to keep them close to you. No real corrections at this age. I think, regular collar, but you want that loose leash. If that leash becomes, if they're pulling you, you're going to do the same. You're going to kind of bring them back to you. And you're going to be, kind of coaxing them with the treat, getting them to walk in there. You're going to be staying heel. Heel. Good boy. And you're going to have them super close to you. I'm trying to think of the best ways to kind of explain that, but I do a video on there about that. And the other thing is also when they're first learning, and if they're pulling, and the leash is taut, you can stop until they come back a little bit. And when that leash becomes loose again, then you're like, good boy, because you want it loose. They're not going to go anywhere if you're stopping and they're pulling the entire time. I think those are the basic things I wanted to cover with you this week. And feel free to call me. I feel weird doing a video the first time, but I have videos about those things on there. Gus is pretty good at waiting at things. So what you want to happen is, I'll show you how to do this with the treat. I don't have him on a leash today because I already have videos out there and I didn't want to make a new video. So for heel, you're just here. He's not going anywhere. I've got a treat right here. Good boy. Good boy. Heel. Good boy. Sit. So just those little circles of any kind to help build that relationship up. I mean, definitely do it on a leash because your dog's a puppy and it's being trained. But those are the things I think are going to help you this week. And try that on the jumping on the people is the main thing for that, is to really, your dog's going to be on a leash for this. I mean, it's inevitable. You can tether, you can have someone hold them over in their place, waiting until, they're calm, and you can practice this with anyone. You guys ring the doorbell, create some excitement, and then have the other person take your dog to place and have them stay there with them. And I usually use a correction. I don't like when commands are repeated because the dogs get confused. So if you're asking them to sit, they can sit or stand in their place. But you just want to repeat it once. If they move and get up, I usually use a noise like like you're doing something wrong and you need to, and they'll usually sit back down. So the first thing to work on before having them actually sit you know, and wait when people come in. You can start to practice that. But the first thing is finding that place. It could be a blanket, a towel, a mat, anything. Somewhere where you want them to be when people come in the doorway. So you're going to start small. You're going to have a mat, and you're going to say place or bed, and you're going to put treats on them. Encourage them to go on them. If you see them on there, give them a treat if they're like doing it without you asking. And really start working on that. So you can be over here, your dog can be over here, and you can say place. And your dog will go to the place. You just really want to reinforce that, but start close. So start close with the place. I'll send this out, and then please, like I said, email me if you have any questions. Thanks.